Hey, what's going on, guys? Kalamazi here, and today's video is going to be a fast one, hopefully, covering the changes, or I guess the updates that are coming to Warlock this Tuesday, so tomorrow, I guess, with the retail pre-patch update, 12.0.1, whatever they're calling it. Basically, they're syncing up the changes they put in for the last few weeks over the course of beta to pre-patch. Now, we're still not getting Apex talents, no fourth row of hero talent points available. You had the fourth row, but you don't have the 3 extra points coming in. And I want to talk about those today for Warlock, because honestly, I don't know what's even happening fully. But we'll get into that right now. I don't need a shameless plug here because we did indeed hit 100k subs on the channel. I put a video out if you guys go on that. But guys, thank you once again for all the support. I've been relaxed in a couple days, trying to get the ball rolling again with this stuff here, man. But thank you all so much for the support, dudes. I really appreciate it, guys, gals, everybody. I don't know how we came close. I don't know how we hit 100k, man. It's insane to me. So legit, I appreciate y'all, but I'm not gonna harp on too much because I've done that enough. Thank y'all. Okay, so I promise I have an account here. So I've used Jarvis to enhance my screen. We can see the blown up version of this. So we're going to get into the breakdown here. Now, a lot of these changes came in like last week. The big question here for Warlock is, are the bug fixes in? Because there's been a handful of bug fixes happening just over the last 48, 72 hours that came like a day or so after these changes hit, and they're not mentioned here. Making sure they're not actually. Yeah, they're not. So I don't know where it's going to go. We'll have to just feel it out on Tuesday when it goes live, and go from there. So, but yeah, so getting into all this stuff here. So for when it comes to tuning for Diabolist, Inferno Bolt and Ruination, these were both buffed by a certain amount, 150 and 50 last week on beta. Now, the difference here, Ruination is still hitting a lot harder for both Destruction and Demonology, both being the 2 specs that have Diabolist. However, Destruction has mastery modifiers, all that. It hits very, very, very hard for Destro. Demonology still hits pretty hard, but this thing cleaves. It hits very hard, once again. Inferno Bolt increased by 150. I mean, it does some more damage, whatever. Is what it is. You're probably already playing Diabolist in single target for Destruction if you're looking to play Destruction in pre-patch or in like a single target based setting. So there is that. Let me change to Diabolist here, whatever. I mean, you know what it is. It's Meteor and it's the Big Mommy's Firebolt, right? Now, when it comes to Hellcaller, this is an older buff, I believe. I think this happened a couple months ago, a month and a half ago. Malevolence damage increased by 230. So to clarify, this is not blackened soul damage. So if you pull up a log from, like, let's see if we can find one on Warcraft logs here. You pull up a log from Hellcaller play. Let's find a dungeon, whatever, sure, doesn't matter. This thing, phenomenal. You'll notice that if you go to like a Hellcaller breakdown, find Warlock, Hellcaller for 2 players who are still playing it at this point. Is there a Hellcaller one in here? Perfect, right there. So this is not this. It's not buffing this. It's buffing this. So it's basically irrelevant. Malevolence does damage when you hit the button. It's going to do like 0.95% now and not 0.75. It doesn't do anything. There you go. It's not buffing like wither damage or black and soul damage, more so it's buffing the button right here that does less than 1%. A bit more in single target, but still like 1%, give or take, not much at all. So these came in with this change a few weeks ago here. Black and soul, wither damage increase. Through the Fellvine now increases castable damage by 10 was 8. And Rain of Fire by 8 was 4. So it's important to note here that when it comes to Hellcaller and stuff, Through the Fellvine is the new row of talents here they have. I gotta change briefly. It's on the far right side, that 4th row they added in basically. Through the Fellvine essentially doubles the effectiveness of abilities when you have Malevolence active right here. Chaos Bolt is 10, but it's 20 Malevolence is active. Rain of Fire is 8, 16 but Malevolence is active. Malevolence being a minute cooldown. And you also have Devil Fruit proccing Malevolence, which I believe does work with this. Last time I checked, I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure it does. It should work with it. If it doesn't work that way, it's bugged, but it should. So there's that. So yeah, Malevolence, the proc here is not working with this though, from what I've seen recently, but it works with this from what I've seen. So unless I'm just dumb, which is also the case, I live in Florida. But there's that. Soul Harvester. So there's a mix of things that happen with Soul Harvester. A few weeks ago, they buffed Soul Harvester significantly for Demonology. Demonology specifically. not Affliction. They came in and said, hey, we're going to not focus on just Soul Harvester for both. We're going to focus on only Soul Harvester for Demonology here and buff things in the Demonology Soul Harvester tree, but not Affliction. They buffed things like right here, Satel's Volition. This went from, I think, 5 to 35%. They buffed this, but they buffed a bunch of things in here. To Demonology, not to Affliction. Afflictions are doing pretty good. Demonology is pretty good too. And then last week, they decided to come in and just blanket nerf Soul Harvester, which hit Demonology a bit, not much, because it was still it buffed a lot. The more specific traits here, like Satiel, so on and so forth. But it also hit Affliction a good bit, which it might have needed a little bit of a knockdown in some areas, but it was over nerfed to Affliction. Unfortunately, AF's pretty mediocre now. If Demonology gets nerfed, start praying, because we have all three specs being pretty subpar. But regardless, though, these are the changes. So when it comes to Demonology, Demonic Soul, start top here, I guess. Wicked Reaping now increases the damage of Manifested Avarice to Soul Swipe, which is basically Soul Swipe here. Reaping is here, basically. The 30% increase is now buffing Soul Swipe. There is that. Shared Vessel is now 2%, was 4. This is a similar trait to Through the Felvine for Hellcaller, which is right here. It used to be 4% passive. Now it's 2, but the effect is doubled while the demonic entity is aiding you in combat, which is like this thing here. So it's a bigger nerf depending how active it is. A lot of RNG to this, how often it's active and for how long. I've had it active for over a minute throughout combat without dropping. I've had it proc once over the course of 4 minutes. Insane RNG with this thing, but you win some, you lose some. Soul Anathema damage reduced by 40%. I believe this is this week's nerfs, which was here, relatively impactful. It's somewhere in this tree of green. It's yeah, there you go. Somewhere in here, one of these green things. There you go. Nerfed by 40%. And then an Affliction-specific nerf, I guess, change came in a while ago. Satiel's Volition no longer affects the chance of gaining Nightfall, which this is the thing that happened a few weeks ago. They're all sort of lumped into one here. And here are the Demonology buffs that came in. So you can see, like, Demonology traits were buffed significantly. A 30% buff to Wild Imp damage is wild. I mean, this is a lot, but hey, I mean, is what it is. Reaping increased damage of all demonic soul damage by 30, was 10. Demonic soul damage reduced by 3. So they buffed this a few weeks ago and then nerfed this last week. I don't know why they didn't just nerf this back, but who knows? It's fine. So this came in this week, this nerf right here. This was part of 2 weeks ago, and this is also all part 2 weeks ago. So in addition to basically just remove this line, and you have all these other buffs here coming in 2 weeks ago, and this line came in this week. So they also buffed Soul Swipe by 20%, Reaping by 100%, Anathema by 50%, and there you go. If you mix in like this nerf here, this hit both Demonology and Affliction, Demonology, Affliction, Demonology, Affliction. So a lot of like up and down. Soul Anathema buff by 50, the nerf by 40. I don't know either. Your guess is as good as mine. I think they should have just hit Demonology Soul Anathema realistically instead of universally buffing it, or buffing it for Demonology by 50 and then universally nerfing it by 40. But I don't know. I think AF could have used a couple areas to be knocked down in a little bit, but it's definitely over nerfed with the Soul Harvester nerfs in conjunction with the Affliction nerfs right here. So yeah, the Affliction stuff, I had to re-record that. I had a coughing attack. Dark Harvest was nerfed by 30%. It was doing a decent bit of damage. It still does a decent bit of damage in AoE. The change is noticeable though. It's a bit unfortunate they hit it. It's gone from being like really fun to really fun to really fun to like still fun, but not as fun as it was before over beta. It'll probably be okay in the long run. You'll get used to it, but like that in conjunction with the sweeping Soul Harvester nerfs here and how undertuned Hellcaller is for AF in every setting, it's just like, I don't know. One application of Haunt can be active at a time. This is a change a few weeks ago. TLDR, it's a good change. It's fine. Don't worry about it. And then Creeping Death no longer affects the chance of gaining Nightfall, which is also a few weeks ago, give or take. There were some changes to the Apex talent for Affliction. Keep in mind, there are no Apex talents in pre-patch, so disregard that for now. I think it's bugged anyways, but there's that. Destruction. So these buffs came in. Yeah, all these were last week. This might seem like a lot. It's not. I mean, this is a lot. But like this is a lot with Overfiend being a 50-second cooldown, 45 basically, and Incinerate and Conflagrate being less than 10% of your damage overall. This actually isn't very much at all, unfortunately. We need a larger buff to Chaos Bolt, probably like legitimately like 25% more to Chaos Bolt maybe, and a couple other modifier buffs too. It's a very, very small amount of damage this amounted to. If you're gonna rank it, like at least for beta, Demonology is up here by a long shot, then Affliction, then Destro when it comes to single target. I'd say M+ as well. Destro is still very good with mass AoE, with Hellcaller, Rain of Fire spam and all that, but I mean, it's a bit of an odd spot because pre-patch and all that too, right? So the big question here, though, is are the bugs going to be fixed or implemented when it comes to pre-patch on Tuesday? I don't know. So the changes that came in there, the ones that came in, I guess, last week, we talked about a day or two or three, or even yesterday, or I think Friday, I think not even yesterday, I don't know, which is weird because it's Sunday. There's been random bug fixes that have been pushed, which are awesome, but they haven't been mentioned anywhere. A good one is that this thing here, well, basically this, Succulent Souls, when you have stacks of them, excuse me, Hand of Gul'dan was consuming 2 stacks whenever you cast it. So Tyrant generates 3. If I cast a hand here, it will go to 1. It should go to 2. They fixed that. It now goes only down by 1. It only consumes 1 stack with a Hand of Gul'dan cast. Very good. Good buff to Demonology and Soul Harvester when it comes to M+. And just like having that higher Succulent Soul Hand of Gul'dan damage increase, like in M+ and all that stuff, right? I'm not recording that again. You're basically going to have the effect active more often. Being here, people are likely swapping the Feast of Souls, at least giving it a shot to have more Succulent Souls, because it's not bugged. You're getting, you know, the effect basically more often on more Hand of Gul'dans. There are some bugs still with Tyrant, but basically whenever you implode with Tyrant being active, he is dynamic now, so he doesn't snapshot imp count anymore. You Tyrant, he just updates based on the number of imps you have active. When you implode on beta, he doesn't lose any stacks of imp power, he just gains 3 more if you're playing to hell and back. So he goes from, like, if you have 6 imps out and you implode, he should go to 0 and 3 because you're getting 3 back. He just goes to 9. That's a thing on beta still. Don't know if it'll make it to retail. We'll find out. If it does, I mean, on top of that, Affliction's got a handful of bugs, a lot of them actually. One was fixed on retail about a week ago, which is pretty cool. I'm assuming these are all going to be fixed, but if they're not, then Malefic Grasp is not going to be played. But the current bugs the bugs in question is Fatal Echo's going to work on in pre-patch. So it's working now in beta. It can be any UA, the chance to refresh itself, whether it's stack 1, 3, 5, 6, RNG, but this is working now. Malefic Grasp is no longer consuming 2 Nightfall stacks, no longer consuming Succulent Soul Shards randomly sometimes when they procking or draining. It's not consuming shard instability anymore, and I believe the flaring up every iteration of UA has been fixed as well. So there's a lot of fixes there. There's more bugs with every other spec as well, I'm sure. I'm just forgetting from the top of my head. I mean, they're there, but like those are the ones that have been fixed that I know of. Could be some more. But yeah, if these are fixed for AF, it will, you know, prop AF up a little bit more. I honestly thought Fatal Echoes and Grasp working properly on beta would be a bump up. It was a little bit, but not what I expected. Not as much. AF brain's been buffed still at this point. It's hard to say what spec we're going to shift to when it comes to this week, because if you look through what's happening with like logs and things now in pre-patch, it's Affliction everywhere, right? I don't know why it's not set the pre-patch, but it's Affliction everywhere. It's very good. All the above. Boss are dying in less than a minute. However, we don't have Apex talents, and with the nerfs coming in, the nerfs Soul Harvester are hitting. That's going to affect Affliction a good bit. It's all Soul Harvester. Now, you do have the fixes to Malefic Grasp, you have the fixes to Fatal Echoes, but with these nerfs coming into Soul Harvester and the Dark Harvest nerf, I'm expecting to not be a Soul Harvester AF world anymore. It might still be by a little bit. It depends, because Demonology is punished a lot by not having its Apex talent. It changes the way the spec plays, basically, totally. A good bit. When it comes to having your Apex talent, it is a fixed version of Nether Portal, a lot of RNG to it. Sometimes you high roll and do a lot of damage, sometimes you do less, but regardless, it changes your rotation, your build a lot. And Destruction just sucks, unfortunately. It needs catastrophic level buffs. That's a bad... Catastrophic implies bad. It needs a lot of buffs. I don't know, man. It needs a lot. So if anything shifts here, I would expect probably to see Demonology up top a bit. I mean, all these buffs are coming in to Demonology. Like, I mean, yeah, basically TLDR, Demonology is getting like a 3% Demonic Soul damage nerf, but it's getting buff, and I mean, yeah, it's a good bit. But once again, honestly, a lot of people no one's really tested with like Demonology on PTR much without the Apex talent. So I'm assuming it's still good, but how good? I don't know exactly. We're gonna find out. But I'm guessing it'll probably shift to a decent bit of Demonology here, and a lot of rankings here. If not, just stay AF. At the same time, it's pre-patch. We have a week, 2 weeks for launch. Who cares? We're having a good time. It's fun, right? But I would expect Affliction to probably get knocked down a decent bit with the large Soul Harvesting nerfs coming in. We'll see where it goes. Hopefully, if you care about parsing, they partition again here. If they don't, it's going to be just a wall of never beatable AF parses, but who cares? It's fun. But that's that. This is on the front page of Wildhead if you want. Also, Blizzard's post here if you want to look at the changes that are coming in. But that is basically that. So the question is, are the bugs going to be fixed? I don't know. Tune in tomorrow, and we'll know together. But yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. GG, GN. See you later. Peace.